Eustass Captain Kid just got dog walked by red hair Shanks outside of Elbaf, and we just saw Loki almost get packed out by Luffy for insulting Shanks, calling him a coward. Now Shanks' brother is looking for Loki, and Kid might mistake Shanks' brother for his top off. Back to him getting dog walked. I think the highest bounty to get dog walked like this previously was like Cracker versus former Admiral Aokiji, and Jack versus Zunisha, a damn island elephant from the Void Century who's boys with Joy Boy. Yeah, I can't talk about hilarious. And they had 2 billion berries less than Kid, who's at a whopping 3 billion berries, the same amount as Luffy and Law, his worst generation rivals, Luffy being a Yonko, and even around the same as Buggy, who's also a Yonko. So this is insane for it to happen. And I must admit, Luffy did way better after Wano, fighting Lucci, Kizaru, and the Gorosei. If I think he did way better on Wano, fighting Kaido. And Law did really like the equally amount as good as Kid on Wano, maybe a little bit better because of the rooftop, but Law landing a clean hit on Blackbeard while not getting completely dog walked the same way that Eustass Kid got dog walked by Shanks. Yeah, that's maybe because of the statement of Haki transcends all that Kaido made on Wano. Maybe Oda just used Kid as an example, like coming off a Big Mom win with his awakening was nothing to the Haki man. And Kid is not no slouch of a character. Like Oda only planned Eustass Kid out of the supernovas. Everything else was freestyle. And he had a higher bounty than Luffy. I think around 315 million berry. Luffy had around 300 million berries after Annie's lobby. And Eustass Kid was killing innocent civilians. That's the reason why his bounty was a little bit higher than Luffy's. But still, Eustass Kid had a higher bounty than Luffy. He had this insane magnetism Delphi that he could even mimic Gear 3rd with magnetism, getting metal arm, huge giant metal arm, which was pretty insane. And then of course, after Marineford, we saw Eustass Kid waiting on the outskirts with his speech about the Yonko and the new era. And Eustass Kid went to the new world and pretty much just destroyed these pirates and pretty much called them pussies, if I'm being honest. Even after the time skip, Eustass Kid was, I think he was destroying Big Mom ships, like ships allied with Big Mom. And then of course, Punk Hazard we saw with one arm, meaning someone took his arm, and he was working with Scrubs, Apu, and Hawkins. At the time, we didn't know Apu and Hawkins were Scrubs. We actually had a high hope for those characters, but after Wano, you guys all know what I'm talking about. And they formed this alliance to take down Shanks, the big bad Shanks. I remember this is right after Dressrosa, and then all of a sudden, Kaido jumps down from a sky island and lets them know, yeah, that's not gonna happen. And then even after Zou, Kaido says, stop playing these pirate games, this worst generation, like these little pirate games are nothing. Pretty much talking down on Eustass Kid, who thought he can go toe-to-toe with a Yonko, because Hawkins and Apu, they ducked the fate, but Kid was actually, he was willing to squabble up, yo, on some Kendrick Lamar shit. So today I do a deep dive on Eustass Kid, one of the most controversial characters in the story, and one of the most hated characters in the story for all his L's he took. They even call him Useless Kid. So let's do a deep dive on this character and how I believe Elbaf is going to be a very big arc for this character. Now, I must admit, I've been very up and down with Eustass Kid. As a character, I really enjoy Eustass Kid, but the reason why I enjoyed him because I saw he had a lot of promise. I was really enjoying him because of the things he could do in the future, because Luffy's my favorite character, so I thought Eustass Kid being badass and epic would be a great rival for Luffy. Yeah, that really didn't end well for where we're at in the story. And Kaido didn't help by telling us that Eustass Kid had Conqueror's Haki in the beginning of Wano. Like, when Kaido said that, I was okay, Kid's a Conqueror's Haki user. He's only out of 2 characters in these supernovas to confirm Conqueror's Haki, which was Luffy and Kid. After that, of course, Zoro got Conqueror's Haki on the rooftop, and we all just assumed that Blackbeard of the worst generation has Conqueror's Haki if we want to add that into it. But yeah, Eustass Kid was one of the few characters in the entire story that have Conqueror's Haki. Now, Don Chinjao did make light of Conqueror's Haki in Dressrosa because he had it and he said it's nothing. The reason why he did that is because Conqueror's Haki coding is the actually rare feat that makes you the top of the top echelons. And Eustass Kid, as we have never seen him, we've seen him in the anime, but in the manga, we haven't really seen Eustass Kid really use Conqueror's Haki to like a great deal, I think at all. And for us to believe that he could use Conqueror's Haki coding, it's looking kind of slim, but I still hope that he did, because if Eustass Kid had Conqueror's Haki coding with his awakened Delphi, it changes the entire game. And then Prison of Udon didn't help as well for having optimistic hopes for Eustass Kid, because he's in there competing with Monkey D Goat. Yes, Monkey D Luffy with one arm, mind you. He doesn't have his metal arm, so he has one arm and he's competing in a physical contest of moving those blocks with Luffy. And he has Sea Stone Cuffs. He's a Delphi user like Luffy. Yeah, it really made us think, yo, Kid's raw strength is up there. He's not just relying on his magnetism Delphi. He actually has insane raw strength. But this is where things kind of get down for Eustass Kid, when we find out his other supernova crewmate, Killer, and That's another reason why I had a lot of high hope for Kid, because he's the only supernova captain to have another supernova on his crew other than Luffy, and Luffy's the main character. So when he had Killer on his crew, it's like, you have to understand, Zoro and Killer, it's like you just hope of this end game fight between the Kid Pirates and the Straw Hat Pirates. But that's all he has, as we learned in Wano. Like, Killer is the only legit guy he has, and Killer ate a smile fruit and turned into a goofy ass character and got packed out by Zoro or Conjuro. Remember that? Yes, Killer in the rooftop did say, oh, I was nerfed, I didn't have my punishing weapons and all that, but still, it wasn't looking too good for Kid because of how his mate was looking. Like, his strongest crewmate that we had high hopes for was looking like a scrub. And the embarrassment didn't stop there, because Eustass Kid escaped the prison of Udon and would have got away if he didn't see Killer actually getting sent to prison of Udon. So he went to go fight and free Killer. And yeah, it wasn't looking too good. And Killer was only working for Orochi because he was trying to actually free Eustass Kid. And they both just get dunked into the water and some crazy torturing, Guantanamo Bay style torturing. And it's crazy because Luffy really didn't like this, and he actually helped to free these guys from getting tortured. And once the prison of Udon stuff was over, Luffy offered an alliance to Kid, and he said fuck off pretty much, because he has PTSD. Everyone he's allied with betrayed him except his crew. So I kind of like that he said no, even though they kind of did do an alliance on the rooftop. It's the principle that matters. Now, when we get into the Onigashima raid part of Wano, that's where we really see what Eustass Kid is made of, because everything else was just like teasers. This is the true Eustass Kid, and he comes out with Punk Rotten. Like, it looks sick. We didn't see the full Punk Rotten, but we seen him transform, so we knew that he had another level. And it was cool because Luffy went to Gear 4th, he went to Punk Rotten, and then Law, of course, did his room. And they were kicking ass in the beginning of the Onigashima raid. Like, they were really charging in, and I loved it. It even got to a point where Eustass Kid got his get back on Apu. Yeah, but of course that mofo got back up. We've seen him do that with Zoro when Zoro attacked him. We've seen Apu get up a lot of times. Yo, Apu is actually underrated durability. He's still even alive right now. Like, Hawkins got packed out and is almost, I think he's dead, but Apu is actually living. So gotta give respect there to Apu. But yeah, Apu, he got his get back on him with the, I think it was the Punk Gibson, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I'll give Kid that. But here's where things actually took a turn for the worse. And people didn't notice that right away, but I did. As a fan of the series, the thing with, yeah, I might be biased when I like a character, but the problem with me is my logic kicks in, and the logic is the cold truth, yo. And I can't let these guys land. When I say land, I mean I can't let them get away with these things. And when Luffy did that red rock to Kaido, and Kaido was thinking about the top 5 characters, Shanks, Odin, Rocks, Whitebeard, Roger, and Kid was glazing. He was glazing Luffy, like, what kind of haki was that? And Killer was like, oh, you can physically damage Kaido? What is going on with the Kid Pirates, yo? This is not the time to be glazing. Yeah, I know Luffy did some amazing things. Like, Red Rock was amazing. Like, it was like the other supernovas were like, what's going on? But still, Eustass Kid, yo, you had time. You had a lot of time to deal with Kaido. You actually lost to Kaido just like Luffy did. And Luffy, after losing to Kaido, said, yeah, I'm going to practice our haki. Now, some people might say Luffy had a Rayleigh as training during the time skip. Kid just did it off the muscle. So, yes, I'll give you that. But still, I did not like, this was a bad sign, a bad omen for me. And it gets worse. Yes, it actually does get worse, because Kid finally reveals that Punk Rotten form, which looked badass. It was pretty epic. Like, it was kind of like a bigger version of Gear 4th, made of metals, and I thought it was cool. It kind of was like a mecha form, so I loved it. It kind of reminded me of Transformers and like those old mecha shows back in the days. So Punk Rotten goes in, and the first thing he does is squeeze Kaido. Yes, you guys are not hearing things. Yes, he squeezes Kaido. Like, that's gonna do something. And then he throws him around and suplexes the dragon form of Kaido. And I'm just thinking, there's no haki here. It's just Kid, but with a bunch of metal pieces, grabbing Kaido, trying to compact him, trying to squeeze him, and trying to throw him around, and that's going to do the trick. Yeah, that's going to really kill the strongest creature alive. No, that's not going to kill him. I know I sound passionate, but I'm giving you guys my thought process when all this is going down. And then it gets worse, yo. When Luffy does his Gear 4th I think it was Kong Gatling or whatever it was. It was a crazy attack where he's just going ham on Kaido. I remember this vividly. And the attacks look like they're damaging Kaido. I think Luffy's actually using Advanced Armor Haki, the first level of it, not the second one, not the Red Rock version, but the first one he was learning, the one that's the Admirals did in Marine Forward. He's using it here, and Kaido's actually taking damage. Not crazy damage, but he's taking a little bit of damage to this Gear 4th array of moves. And guess what we see, guys? We see Kid just in complete shock and awe, and he's glazing Luffy like, whoa, like, how, like, that's a lot of power. What is going on? Luffy never did that once when Kid was fighting. But Kid is doing this. Like, Kid is in complete shock and awe of what he's witnessing. And I'm just thinking, bro, you need to have more confidence in your own strength, not others. Now, not to completely shit on Eustass Kid, because I'm not the first YouTuber to do it, and I won't be the last, but I do got to defend him in some situation on the rooftop. Like, when he took a punch from Big Mom and then repelled her, that was cool. That was cool because Big Mom's physical strength is insane. Like, her and Kaido are known for their physical and strength. They're the Yonko. So if you can tank an attack from that Yonko, I'll give you some respect. And that's what really surprised me, because his durability should be good for what we've seen up till, of course, when he came to Elbaf. But yeah, we would later eventually see Eustass Kid even save the Straw Hats with a Punk Gibson to Big Mom, which was also cool. Though I don't think he's doing damage. He's doing the same thing he was doing to Kaido to Big Mom now, just throwing her around. And the Straw Hats, I thought it was pretty cool. Like, it was a cool moment for Eustass Kid to take on a Yonko. It's bravery, it's courage. You can't go against Kid's courage. His courage and bravery is there. But the thing is, it's not doing anything in my opinion. These attacks weren't just doing nothing to the Yonko. And then as he's fighting Big Mom with the help of Law, out of nowhere, Hawkins actually does something where Eustass Kid is now taking the damage that Killer is taking. Like, what? Not Killer. Eustass Kid is taking the damage that Hawkins is taking, actually. So Hawkins is banging his head on the wall, and Eustass Kid is taking damage, and he can't even protect himself against Big Mom. He can't even fight properly against Big Mom. Like, how to say this? I'm not saying this to say that this makes Kid look bad in a sense, but it's not making him look good. So that's my thoughts there. Now things get a little bit worse for Kid, because even after Killer actually defeats Hawkins, like when Killer defeats Hawkins, because of course Eustass Kid doesn't have an arm and that whole plot line there, Kid actually gets to fighting Big Mom again, and his Punk Rottens gets destroyed by Ikkaku Sovereignty. Like, it's like a giant attack from Big Mom that we've seen in Hokage Island. She just utterly destroys his Punk Rotten, his Gear 4th form, in quotation marks, because it is not on the same level as Gear 4th, I'm being completely honest. But then, this is where Kid brings up the process of awakening, and I realized something. There's a little glimmer of hope, because Kid was actually awakened before before Luffy. Kid and Law have awakened the Dovefoods going into Wano. That is insane, and they already knew what they're capable of, and they were hiding it as a last resort. So when we see this awakening against Big Mom, and he uses Punk Clash, and it's crazy because this Punk Clash, with the help of Law's awakening as well, forces Big Mom to take 1 year of her own lifespan, and she admits she hasn't felt this pain in decades. This is where there's a glimmer of hope, because Kid is finally damaging a Yonko. It looks like his awakening is what really amplified his strength and his ability to compact and squeeze and to do damage without crazy levels Haki. Yeah, it was his awakening. So I thoroughly loved it, and showed that magnetism had its W's here. It was like, had its benefits. It even gets to the point where Big Mom was actually genuinely surprised about Eustass Kid durability, because she's been whooping on him the entire time, and she's thinking, how is this guy still standing? And he takes this bull-like metal bull that he creates through magnetism in his awakening, and pretty much charged into Big Mom. The bull is bigger than Big Mom, and I believe it's not as big as the damage that Law was doing, but Kid has this whole thing where he thinks small damages rack up, and pretty much nothing is impervious to damage in general. So he's like slow and steady wins the race when it comes to how he's trying to take down Big Mom. But yeah, I think honestly that Law in this moment did more damage, because Big Mom says it like, okay, yeah, Law, I gotta watch out for him, he's dangerous. So yeah. Now I must admit, when it comes to the finishing attack, like, Law had a pretty cool finishing attack, but I think Oda wanted Eustass Kid to be the final finishing attack. That's why he gave him Damn Punk. Damn Punk is incredibly powerful. It's insane, and it's a move that Oda gave him to finish Big Mom. Now, the first time he shoots that Damn Punk, yeah, it's pretty good. It's damaging Big Mom, but it's not taking her down. So what does Eustass Kid do? Yeah, let me just do another Damn Punk. And this time it pushes Big Mom into the hole, where of course eventually she grabs the explosions, and that's what causes her to actually be defeated. But still, I'm telling you guys right now, even your finishing moves have asterisks, Kid. Damn Punk is powerful, don't get me wrong, it's pretty powerful, but it didn't get the full credit it deserved. If Damn Punk was the reason why Big Mom took a L, then Eustass Kid ratings in the fan base, like, everyone's gonna put him in a high regards. But that's not the reason. We can't deny that. It even got to the point where Big Mom, after getting shot with 2 damn punks, was talking about, this is not gonna kill me, I'm gonna come back. Like, she was talking a whole lot of shit. Now when it comes to after Wano, Oda continues his pretty much shitting on Eustass Kid tour by not giving him that Yonko spot, like having the exact same bounty as Luffy but not giving the Yonko spot, giving it to Buggy instead, which I found funny. That one I actually found funny. I didn't mind Oda shitting on Eustass Kid there. And honestly, Eustass Kid and Law, they didn't deserve to be Yonko because they equally, what I mean by that is they both equally took out Big Mom. It was like a team up effort. Like, them together is Yonko level, but 1v1 they're not ready for Yonko level in my opinion. So I didn't mind them giving it to Buggy in a sense as like a joke thing because Mihawk's under him. And that's just my thoughts there. Like, if you, and there's only one spot left. Like, if Luffy takes a spot, who else are you gonna give it to? Either you give it to Law and then Kid takes the L, or you give it to Kid and Law takes the L. So I didn't mind the route that Oda went here. But then Kid starts talking about this man marked by flames. He starts talking about this man marked by flames. And all I'm thinking about is what actually happened. Like, you don't even need the man marked by flames now because you lost your road poneglyphs. Yeah, it gets worse and worse. But it's like Kid is so close. He's scraping on the surface of genius. Okay, when I say genius, I mean a greatness in a sense. And it just fails every time. He gets so close. You know that guy who keeps digging and digging and gets close to the gold and goes back? That's Eustass Kid in my eyes. Now, it doesn't really get that much better for Eustass Kid in Egghead Island. Like, we see him approaching Elbaf and he talks about how he loves adventure. And it kind of gives you that Luffy feel a little bit. And then we actually see what goes down when who's on Elbaf is Red Hair Shanks, and Ben Beckman like is pretty much mocking Eustass Kid because Lucky Roo's like, yo, didn't you take his? You're the one who should be talking. Lucky Roo's alluding to Ben Beckman taking Eustass Kid's arm back in the days, and Killer even admits that Kid never even saw Shanks when he ran into the Red Hair Powers, and all it took was the vice captain to defeat you. Now, of course, how do I say this? Ben Beckman is incredibly powerful. I think he's one of the strongest vice captain of Yonko. I think right now he's currently the strongest vice captain of Yonko. Unless you count Mihawk. Okay, if you count Mihawk, then Mihawk's stronger than him. But I'll talk about the other Yonkos when it comes to Luffy, Blackbeard, and whatchamacallit. What's his name? Yeah, Shanks. Yeah, I think Ben Beckman is the strongest vice captain. So it's not that bad of an L, getting your arm ripped off by Ben Beckman. But yeah, this time you actually do see Red Hair Shanks. And when he does see Red Hair Shanks, let's be honest here. 10 seconds into the future. What other character do you know that can see 10 seconds into the future? Nobody. Yes, even Katakuri can't see 10 seconds in the future. And if Shanks wasn't able to see 10 seconds into the future, Shanks' entire fleet is getting destroyed. That's how powerful Eustass Kid's damn punk is. So I will give him that. But he can see 10 seconds in the future. And when he sees 10 seconds in the future, he goes to Eustass Kid, and before Eustass Kid can even shoot off that damn punk, he slices it with Divine Departure, and Killer even takes some effects, and they're just getting destroyed, and the rope poneglyphs are getting taken, and they're just taking the ultimate L. I think I call it the ultimate L for Eustass Kid. So you're probably thinking, is this video just a video shitting on Eustass Kid? Like, it's not the first time we've seen a video like this. Well, I'm telling you guys right now, the reason why I'm saying these things is because I do have hope for Eustass Kid. I had to shit on him in this video because I do have hope, so I can't be biased. Like, I have to admit, like, he did take a lot of L's. But Elbaf is his last chance. I think the only way for Kid to redeem himself is Conqueror's Haki coding. If Kid doesn't have Conqueror's Haki coding, just don't even show him on my manga. Don't even show him on my anime. If he just comes back with Awakening and that's it, no. I want to see Armor Haki, Advanced Armor Haki. I want to see Advanced Conqueror's Haki. Those two things. And I want to see that combined with his Awakening. If he's not doing that in Elbaf, he can't redeem himself. And you have to understand, like, Luffy got Conqueror's Haki coding after he got hit by, not Thunder Bago, but the Ragnarok. And that's when he realized, okay, so that's what's going on. Kaido took me Conqueror's Haki coding. Zoro the same way. Zoro, whatchamacallit, got hit by Big Mom and Kaido combining an attack. And he blocked it for a second and broke all his bones in his body. But you know what's funny? He comes back with Ashura and Conqueror's Haki coding that scars Kaido. So Kid getting hit by a Divine Departure might be a good thing. It might help him discover Conqueror's Haki coding. And even Odin got hit by Conqueror's Haki coding by Roger at Divine Departure, sees Whitebeard and Roger not touching because of their advanced Haki, comes back to Kaido and scars him. Yeah, so I think this could be a good sign for Kid to do some crazy stuff. And if he has Conqueror's Haki coding, now he can fight the likes of Luffy on Elbaf for the Royal Poneglyphs. And his only redemption, I think, is losing high diff. He's not going to beat Luffy. Luffy's Gear 5, Joy Boy, like Yonko. No, he's not beating Luffy. But if he gives Luffy a tough fight, he redeems himself, in my opinion. And how to say this, if he doesn't, he's just officially a big fat loser and not considered worthy of being Luffy's rival. I'm just gonna keep it real with you guys. I'm not gonna sugarcoat. And look at Roger's greatest foe. Look at Cheeky. Took down half a Marine Ford when he fought Garp and Sengoku, and they had a war surrounding Roger. Look at Whitebeard. They fought for 3 days and 3 nights. Those were Roger's pirate rivals. And I'm telling you guys right now, he might have to do something even more in Elbaf, not just fight Luffy and lose high diff. He might have to beat Shanks' brother and try to get his get back revenge because of what Shanks did to him. Or he might have to beat Loki just to get the respect to fight Luffy. Luffy's special legendary Delphi and Kid comes in and beats him. He has to do something. He has to do something. He can't just go loose to Luffy, in my opinion. He has to do something. So Elbaf is your last chance, Eustass Kid. And if you guys want, come back to this video if he does nothing in that arc so you can see how I felt. But if he does amazing things, this video is going to go a long way. But yeah, Elbaf is his last chance. Debate in the comment section what do you think, but yeah, that's my opinion.